Hey you guys, welcome back to another What's for Dinner. Today I'm sharing with you 5 super simple and easy recipes that you could add to your meal plan for the week. I do these videos every single Sunday, so I hope you'll consider hitting that little red subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up, but let's get into all of the meal ideas. This first recipe is chicken zucchini casserole. It sounds a little different, but I promise you it is so good. You're just gonna start by cutting up half an onion. I am using a yellow onion. And then you'll also need some zucchini for this one. So the recipe actually calls for 4 zucchini, but I have never used 4 of them. I've always made it with 2, and I feel like that's the perfect amount. I think 4 would be a little bit too much in my opinion, but you could do the full 4 zucchini if you would like. And then for the breading part of this casserole, you're just going to take a box of stuffing. I would recommend using either chicken or turkey stuffing, and you're just going to dump that into a bowl. You're going to be starting with about 3/4 of it and then save that last little bit to sprinkle on top for later on. And you'll just be mixing this with 1 whole stick of melted butter. And then you'll also need to add in your shredded chicken breast. I always do mine in the crock pot, and I would say I added about 2 chicken breasts on this day. And then you'll toss in all of your veggies that you had pre-chopped as well. For the sauce for this casserole, you're just going to need 1 can of cream of chicken, just the regular size can. And then you'll also need half a cup of sour cream. Now for seasonings, I kept it really simple with just a little bit of garlic powder and some pepper. I didn't feel the need to add any extra salt since there's already quite a bit of salt in the cream of chicken soup. And then you'll just spray a 9x13 pan with a little bit of oil and spread this mixture all the way across. Make sure you spread it out good so that it cooks evenly. Once you have your casserole all smoothed out, you're just going to be topping it with the leftover stuffing mix that you had set aside earlier. Like I said, you want about 1/4 of the bag to sprinkle on top. This really adds a little bit of flavor on top. And then you're just going to be popping this into a 350-degree oven for about 45 minutes, and it is seriously so delicious. I kept our sides super simple, and I just did some peppers. Easton eats peppers really well, and since the casserole had almost everything in it, I decided to keep it really simple. This was actually our Valentine's Day dinner. We had Mississippi chicken and shrimp, which are my husband's favorites. So I am just starting with 4 to 5 pounds of chicken thighs in the crock pot. I used boneless ones, but you can definitely use the bone-in ones if you would like. And then I'm just sprinkling on a packet of ranch seasoning mix. Make sure it gets on all the pieces of chicken so that's all well coated. And then you're going to be doing the same exact thing with the au jus gravy mix. And then for some extra flavor and just tanginess, you're going to be adding on 8 pepperoncini peppers. You can find these right next to the pickles at the grocery store. And then right on top, you're just going to be putting on a stick of butter and then cook this on high for about 5 hours and make sure your chicken is cooked all the way through. So easy and so good. And then for the shrimp, I just put a little dollop of butter in a pan and let that melt. And then I'm adding just a little bit of olive oil. I always like to do a combination of butter and olive oil when I do shrimp. I just like it that way. And then I'm just going to be tossing these shrimp in the pan and cooking them for a few minutes. These were the pre-cooked shrimp, so it didn't take long at all. And then for seasonings, I'd like to do just a little bit of salt and pepper and garlic powder. We always dip ours in cocktail sauce, so I like to keep the seasonings really simple. So this was my first time making this chicken bacon ranch pasta salad, and we did really like it. It was super simple and easy to make. The recipe that I had followed, I did follow it for the most part, but I added all of the vegetables because the original recipe didn't really call for any. So I am adding in a red pepper and an orange pepper as well as 2 cucumbers. So I am just starting off by chopping up all of my peppers into really nice bite-sized pieces. And then for the cucumbers, I am using 2 of them. You can tweak this to your liking. You could use 1 or you could use 1.5, whatever you prefer. But I am just cutting the seeds out of mine because they kind of make the salad waterlog if you leave those seeds in. And then I'm just chopping those up into bite-sized pieces as well. And then you can add in as much green onion as you like. I did add in quite a bit just because everyone in our family does really like onion. For the pasta, I just boiled 2 boxes of rotini noodles, and then I made sure to rinse them off so they didn't stick together. And then for the sauce, you're going to be adding in some mayo. I didn't measure this out. I just kind of eyeballed it and did it to taste. I would say you're going to want to add about 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup for 2 boxes of noodles. And then I also did a big squirt of ranch, again to taste. I'm sorry, I don't have exact measurements. And then for seasonings, I did a little bit of garlic powder, some onion powder, and some salt and pepper. For the bacon, I took the easy way out and I just added a package of the cooked bacon that you can get in the store, and then I did 2 shredded chicken breasts. And then you'll also be adding in all of your pre-chopped veggies and get all of that mixed together. So this pasta salad is obviously way too big of a batch for my small family, so we ate it 4 meals throughout the week. So what I ended up doing was taking out enough for like 1 dinner, and then I stuck the rest of it back in the fridge, and I only added the shredded cheese to what we were going to be eating that night or the next day, just because shredded cheese kind of gets a gummy texture when it's mixed with noodles for too long. So that's a little tip if you're making this to eat throughout the week. But this was super yummy. I almost didn't even include this in this video because honestly it's mac and cheese with venison bacon, but you know what, just had to include a little real life because believe me, we do not always eat super healthy, and I don't always cook a good meal for my family every night because sometimes mom life is just survival mode. So all you see me doing here is making the Annie's mac and cheese. I will say that this is my favorite mac and cheese, and it's I think a little bit healthier than the Kraft kind. I don't know, it's just what I always buy. But a little tip, if you mix up mac and cheese, I would definitely suggest mixing the sauce together before you add the noodles back in. I used to do it the other way, and this way is seriously so much easier. I feel like it just gets mixed together better. And then to go with our mac and cheese, I am actually just making some venison bacon. I feel like most people have probably never had this. It's something that my husband actually makes. So my husband hunts and he loves getting venison for us. And he actually made this year. It's almost like a sausage. It's called venison bacon, and it's venison, and then it has just a little bit of sausage added to it, and it is so good. He threw it in his smoker and it is seriously delicious. We absolutely love it. For the last meal of the week, I kept it super simple with some venison steak and some roasted potatoes, both of which I already had on hand and just needed to use up. So I am just taking 4 russet potatoes. These take the longest, so I wanted to start with the potatoes. I did leave the skins on for these, but you could peel them if you prefer them that way. But I am just chopping them up into about 1-inch cubes and throwing them onto the baking sheet. And whenever I make roasted potatoes, I just drizzle them with a little bit of olive oil and toss them to coat. And then for seasonings, I am just using a little bit of garlic powder, some chili powder, as well as a little bit of salt and pepper. I make roasted potatoes a lot because they're really budget friendly, and my toddler actually really likes eating them this way. And they're obviously much healthier than like a French fry or something. But that is it for these potatoes. You're just going to make sure they're spread out evenly and then throw them into a 400-degree oven for about 1 hour. Whenever I cook venison, I usually just drizzle my pan with a little bit of olive oil and then throw in your venison. And then you're basically just going to be frying this on both sides. And then I also like to do a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. I feel like it takes away any little bit of gaminess that might be in the meat. And then I keep it really simple again with just salt and pepper. Whenever we have venison steak, I always serve it with steak sauce. So I keep the flavor of the actual venison very simple when I cook it. Well, that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it and that this gave you some meal ideas to put on your own meal plan for the week. I do make these videos every single Sunday, so make sure you're subscribed if you don't want to miss out on those. Give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And leave me a comment down below and let me know what is on your meal plan for the week. But that is it for today's video. I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.